The market is sending signals that most investors are completely ignoring. Even veteran analysts like Tom Nash are warning that the way we view safety in 2026 is fundamentally broken. Today, we are looking at the hard truth behind the recent volatility and why your current strategy might be setting you up for a massive loss. This is the Rich Resource.
The conclusion is buy more. Because think about it this way. If you saw an electronic device at the store and the cost was, $300 a day earlier. Now, you come into the store a day later, and now this same device is selling at a 20, 25, 30% discount for no reason. None. Same device, same features. There's nothing except the fact that there is a sale. Well, you'd be excited for that. But somehow in the stock market, it doesn't work like that. The logic is backwards. Whenever we have a sale on good companies, it tends to spook people instead of get them excited. So my whole thing is, let's dump the emotions. Let's be critical. Let's be analytical. Let's check whether this price drop has anything to do with fundamentals. And if it does, sell. If it doesn't, buy.
Tom Nash's store sale logic exposes the psychological trap that keeps the average person poor. But psychology is only half the story. To see the real wealth-building power of this strategy, you have to look at the data from the most volatile stocks of the decade. Watch how this played out for Palantir.
If you look at Palantir's history, it's pretty much been a very volatile stock. The history is pretty staggering. Since it went public in 2020, the stock dropped 20% 10 times in 5 years. So it drops 20%. What you've seen over the past 2 days, that happens twice a year on average since it went public. It's not an unusual occurrence. In fact, just 12 months ago, in February of 2025, the stock literally dropped 50% in just 2 or 3 weeks. In fact, in 2022, the stock dropped 83%. None of this is scary for us. You don't know where we've been. You want to scare us with a couple of days of drops? This is what we went through with the stock. It's a very volatile stock. And there's benefits to that volatility. For example, it's going to give you 1,000% in a 3-year period where the S&P does 100% because it's way more volatile. But in bad days where everybody gets wet, well, Palantir is going to be at the very wet end of this. By the way, during this entire cycle, 10 drops of 20, 1 drop of 50, 1 drop of 83, all that in 5 years, the stock has done 2,200% since 2023.
A 2,000% return doesn't happen by accident. It happens by staying the course, when everyone else is running for the exit. But there is one final trap that Tom Nash identifies that is even more dangerous than a market crash. It's the illusion of safety.
Most of the time, this is what's going to happen. Number one, there is this risk inversion with cash that people don't understand. Cash feels very, very safe in the short term, which it is because it can drop 50% overnight like a stock. But over the long haul, inflation is essentially eating away that cash. And the more times go by, the more inflation is going to destroy that cash pile. So the same cash you held just 5 years ago is now literally worth 25% less. That's a fact. Now, if you continue to hold cash, inflation is going to keep eating at it. And eventually, at some point, it's going to be almost worthless, or at least worth half or a quarter what you used to owe. And the thing is, risk changes with cash. In the beginning, risk is very small, but the more you hold on to cash, the bigger the risk becomes because of inflation. With stocks, it's literally vice versa, the opposite. In the beginning, in the short term, stocks feel very, very unsafe, insecure. It feels like it can blow up at any moment. But then what ends up happening is that, oh my God, 10% per year, 10% per year, 10% per year. And eventually what happens is that stocks become way safer in the long run compared to cash. There's an inversion of risk.
In 2026, cash isn't king. Knowledge is. Tom Nash has made it clear. The risk isn't in the market. It's in your lack of a plan. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and master the shift, hit that subscribe button and join the Rich Resource community. We'll see you in the next one.